joined via Skype with Jon Fitch. Jon, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
No, it's the pleasure's all ours. Thanks very much for giving us some time.
No problem.
So, for anybody watching this that doesn't know, Jon's got a big fight coming up against welterweight champion Rory MacDonald, and that's at Bellator 220. So you're finally getting to kick off your part in the tournament and up against the current champion nonetheless. So just tell us, how happy were you, Jon, when you found out your first fight in the tournament was going to be against Rory?
Yeah, I was really stoked. You know, I was a little irritated before with having to wait so long in between fights. But when they finally came at me with I was going to get Rory the first round, and the belt was going to be up for grabs every round of the tournament. You know, I forgot about being upset about waiting. So you know, I'm super stoked about this. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I put in a lot of hard work over the years, been through quite a bit, and you know, I'm looking to finish out my career on a high note, and I'm going to win this tournament, and you know, kind of prove a lot of people wrong, a lot of the naysayers wrong, and show them that this old man still got a lot of juice left in him. Yeah,
that's one of the things I was going to say. Obviously, there has been some naysayers in the past. This is a massive opportunity for you just to prove you are still one of the best welterweights in the world. I'm assuming that is a motivation leading into this one.
It is, but I mean, I've done the work to make my mark. People know me. People know what I've done. I'm proud of my career, and this tournament's going to be the cherry on top. It's not going to define me. You know, I'm going to put out my best effort and show people what I have, and you know, I'm excited about it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's already been a lot of fun. Just the preparation, you know, getting to do fun interviews like this, and just being able to look back at the career, and you know, things are still going forward strong. I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, you said there with regards to having to wait for the fight, is that another good thing for you, the fact that it's a tournament format, so you get the opportunity, obviously all going well against Rory, that you get to compete more this year as well?
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, you know, they were talking about finalizing this tournament sometime like end of the year, so I may fight 3 times this year, and that's really exciting for me because it's been a long time since I got the opportunity to fight 3 times in a year. And as a fighter, that's one of the things that sucks the most about this job is you're ready and willing to work, but the promoter doesn't have any work for you, and you end up sitting around, and we don't get paid unless we're fighting. So it becomes a real pain in the ass, to put it any other way. You know, because it's not like we can go off and jump into some other job while we're waiting and make good money. You know, it's difficult. So, you know, the guys who are lucky enough to have side income that keeps them afloat, you know, it's a good thing to have. I wish I would have focused more on some side ventures, you know, throughout my career. Yeah. And there's a lot of opportunities nowadays with the internet and to make money, you know, affiliate sales and all kinds of different avenues for guys to get into, and the younger fighters need to be exploring those options.
Yeah, and I'll actually come back to that just in a second, something you've said there, but I wanted to know, obviously, if everything goes well against Rory, how will that affect your pay structure going forward? Will you then earn more? Because effectively a win against Rory, it does make you effectively the welterweight champion.
Yeah, I have written into my promotional agreement, I do get a pay bump for being a champ. So I don't get a pay bump for this fight, but each preceding fight afterward as a champion, I will be paid more.
Yeah, and just something I've just jumped back that you touched on there, it was regards to pay. How much has that changed for you over the years, the opportunities fighters now have to earn versus maybe when you were starting out in your career? Have you noticed a massive difference, the opportunities people have now to earn, just out with fighting on social media as well?
Well, I mean, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster with money-wise. You know, some of the pay has gone up a little bit, but it seems like there are fewer shows that pay good money. Yeah. And if you do get signed to a bigger organization that does pay a little bit better, you fight less often than you used to. Yeah. There was a time back in the mid 2000s when, you know, you could fight for multiple organizations on a low level, and you know, you might be making $15,000 a fight fighting for a company like King in the Cage, but you could fight, you know, 10 times in the year. But that's pretty good. That's pretty good money. And then the deal with the sponsorships. We used to make a lot more money in sponsorships before the UFC started taxing the sponsors and put a lot of sponsors out of business because they couldn't afford to pay into the UFC in order to sponsor guys. And then even more changes have happened. So now it's even harder to get a paying sponsor to just give you money up front. Almost everything now is affiliate type sales. So you'll get a code, and they'll sell a T-shirt, and if they use your code, you'll get a kickback for that. So, things have changed. So you got to hustle a lot harder to make the extra money outside of the actual fight now.
Yeah. So basically, what we're saying there is, if you want to get rich quick, don't become a fighter.
Just be prepared. Like, you're not just a fighter; you're actually a salesman.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to be able to do sales and be good at sales.
Yeah, it's certainly a difficulty here in the UK. I know for a lot of fighters, financially, it is a grind here as well. But I guess that's kind of across the board for fighters.
In MMA, yeah, but not in boxing. Boxing is not the same. They have a lot more agency. The fact that it's run more like an actual sport. The fact that the promoters don't control rankings. The fact that promoters don't control the titles. That gives more opportunities to the athletes. The fact, some people badmouth and say that, 4 major titles in boxing is a bad thing. I don't think so. I think as a business perspective, as a fighter, you have more options to be a title holder and make big money. If this title doesn't like you or this promoter doesn't like you, you can leave and make just as much money at the other one of the 4 major titles. If you're not granted a title shot for this one organization, well, you have 3 other opportunities to be a world-class top number 1 guy.
And obviously as well, I know, speaking to some fighters from the UK that have signed to Bellator, they seem to be looking after the fighters that are coming in. Is that something you've felt since going into Bellator? Do you feel that they've looked after you a bit more than maybe you have been in the past?
Yeah, I think Bellator is doing a real good job taking care of guys. I think they're definitely paying a higher percentage of the revenues out, and it just feels more like early UFC. Or at least mid 2000s UFC when there was competition, when the UFC had to work harder to keep you around because you could go to Pride or you could go to some other organization. Well, now, with the power that the UFC's come to, their monopoly, they don't have to treat you nice. And then unfortunately, there's a lot of other smaller organizations that work closely with the UFC that they don't treat you nice either. Because if you don't do what they say, they're not going to give you the nod to go up to the big leagues, to the UFC. So I don't know. It's monopolies are inherently evil. They're just not good for anybody. I think the quality of the sport has dropped off because of that, and the fans are missing out. Yeah,
I think that's something that you could, that monopoly, you could apply across the board, not just to sport, but to all walks of life. It seems to it seems to not be the best for the people working in it.
Yep.
Now, obviously, need to chat a wee bit about the fight with Rory. Rory's somebody that I'm assuming are very familiar with. Obviously, you were in the UFC at the same time. You fought against Rory's teammates. Rory did obviously just fight for the 185 title against Gegard Mousasi. I'm assuming that fight you can't read too much into because he was moving up in weight. But do you feel you've got a good game plan going in against Rory?
I think so. I think Rory's a really tough guy, but I don't think he's exceptionally amazing in any one realm. I think I match up with him everywhere well. Stand up wrestling, grappling. I think it's a good fight across the board. I think we're both very tough. We both come in shape, good cardio. We both have good, strong mindsets. I think it's just going to be a blood and guts type of fight, and we're both going to leave it out in the cage, and should be very entertaining.
And with regards to yourself in preparation for the fight, obviously you've been in the fight game for a long time now, you're a veteran. Are you now approaching fights differently in your training and potentially training smarter and going into the cage maybe closer to 100% than you were 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Well, yeah, because for one, the skill set's there. I don't have to continue to put in the hours and hours and hours of learning the techniques and learning the skill sets and learning the fundamentals. I still do the fundamentals, still practice the fundamentals, but I know how to fight. I've had more than 40 fights. I've been doing this for 16 and a half years. It'll be 17 years this July. I know what I'm doing. I just need to be in shape. I need to be healthy, and I need my timing to be on point, along with a solid game plan that's ingrained into my computer program, in my mind. You got to program the body, program the mind. That way, when the cage door slams, it's just on autopilot.
And take all that into consideration. I know that sounds a little cliche, but do you feel that we're going to see the best Jon Fitch going in against Rory MacDonald in Bellator 220?
I think so. What's the saying? Age and treachery over youth and skill any day. I think you're going to see a very tough Jon Fitch, who's healthy, in shape, confident, and really has nothing to lose. I'm coming in. They're looking at me as the underdog. The betting odds have Rory as a heavy favorite. I'm an old man. I'm not supposed to even be fighting for titles at this age. So, I've got a lot of weight lifted off my shoulder. I just got to go in there and hustle, do what I know how to do, and surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, well, you're not that old, John. You're close to me in age, so we'll not say old man. Not quite yet.
I kind of joke because I put out a book, Failing Upward: Death by Ego, this December, and it shares a lot of my journals from early career stuff, and one of the themes that kept repeating in those journals was how I thought I was getting so old. I was like maybe 26 years old at the time of writing these. I was so old. I thought that at 30, my career was going to be over. If I didn't accomplish these goals by 30, I had no chance of doing anything. So I just kind of joke about it because I'm teasing myself with the idea that, 11 years past the age of what I thought was too old, I'm still here fighting for world titles.
Does it sort of seem crazy when you look back at when you started your career, when you're saying 16, 17 years ago? Does it feel like it was 16, 17 years ago you started?
No, man, it feels like yesterday. It feels like we just got going. A lot of the stuff was a blur, and I've made some mistakes in not taking time to enjoy myself. I took I took things way too seriously. You got to stop and enjoy yourself. You got to enjoy the process. And there was a point where I became so obsessed about getting a rematch with George St. Pierre and winning a UFC title that I kind of started forgetting to have fun and enjoy myself. And I've kind of woken up from that, and I'm understanding how blessed I am to get to live the life I've lived. Yeah. I get to spend the time I get to spend with my children. I'm a really lucky dude, and even if my fight career ends sooner than later, I did great things. I had a lot of fun, and I'm still in a great position to have a good life after fighting.
Well, there you go. I think that just shows with age comes wisdom as well.
I hope.
I quickly wanted to pick your brain a wee bit about the rest of the welterweight tournament, especially the Paul Daly MVP fight. Now, the reason I bring that up is you obviously fought Paul Daly and beat Paul Daly, and Paul Daly was quite critical of your wrestling style. However, it seemed like in the fight with MVP, he seemed to almost become a wrestler and move away from what he does. Did you think that was a wee bit hypocritical of him?
No, I mean he's fighting to win. Whatever. He's trying to do what he can to win. So of course, if he's in a fight with a wrestler who's going to out wrestle him, he's gonna talk smack on wrestling because he wants to steer the fight into the channel that he can win at. I get it. It's part strategy. It's part salesmanship. But I thoroughly enjoyed that fight. A lot of people criticized it, but me and some of the other fighters who enjoy strategy and who enjoy game planning, like we loved it. We loved watching this guy try to get takedowns because he's trying to win the fight, and that's what it's supposed to be about. It's about what skills can you put together in order to win the fight. Like that's why I got into the sport. I wanted to test and see what was the best way to fight, what was the best system, what was the best style, who could put the best things together, who could strategize the best fights. I don't just want to watch guys in small gloves do kickboxing. If I want to do that, I can. John Wayne Parr has a great steel cage Muay Thai show. That's awesome. I can go and watch that and be happy watching that. But that's not what MMA is. I want to see somebody pull something out of their ass that nobody expected. A striker rolls underneath and attacks an ankle lock. That's amazing to me. How did he set it up? How did he train for that? Who did he work with to figure that out? I think that's really fun. I think the chess match is fun. And I don't know. Some people just want to watch the same fight over and over and over again. It's kind of like a drug addict who just keeps trying to chase the same. They saw one great fight once that went a certain way, and they just keep chasing these fights, hoping that the same thing happens again. Well, that's just not the way I like to do things. That's not the way I like to watch fights.
Do you think maybe almost that fight suffered from fan expectation of what the fans thought it was going to be?
Partly, I think, but I think partly too is damaged by the pro wrestling operation of MMA today. There is no rhyme or reason in a sports sense to the matchups of a lot of the fights that happen. It's pro wrestling. They're putting on a show. The fights are real, but everything else leading up to it is just pro wrestling, and I'm not a big fan of that. I don't let pro wrestling be pro wrestling. Let us have fights. You can put together fun fights, but you also need to have some kind of merit-based structure that allows guys to rise from the bottom up to the number one rank because of the wins they've had, and that allows them to fight for titles because they have a legitimate ranking that's not arbitrarily just given out by the promoter because, well, hey, we're going to make more money on this guy, so let's give him a higher rank.
Yeah. Do you think that, obviously we know it's kind of all that sort of trash talking, it's kind of not started with Conor McGregor, because with guys like Chael Sonnen and that doing it before.
Shale did it, and then Conor took it to another level. But yeah, it was kind of Shale kind of started that. And I'm not even saying that that's bad. Like, okay, you can have that type of thing every once in a while, but it shouldn't be that shouldn't be the merit based on who gets the big fights. That shouldn't be what decides who's going to get the biggest fight. Is who did the best, gimmick on the mic, who did the best trash talking. Let the fight speak for itself, and then every once in a while you're going to have guys who are Chael Sonnen, you're going to have guys who are Conor, and they're going to talk themselves into big fights, and that's okay. But when every single guy starts trying to do it, it starts looking really stupid, and then everybody looks like Colby Covington.
Let me ask you a quick question on that, because it's something I've noticed in the UK. I'm starting to see more and more like young amateur fighters doing it. They're very early. They've maybe had 3 or 4 fights, and you see them taking that approach. Is that something
amateur?
You see in the States?
They're not even pros. Amateurs, yeah. Like I see guys all the time. They're putting up social media posts and different stuff, and I'm like, you got to do the work first. Learn, get your blue belt. Get your blue belt. Have a few amateur fights. Go pro first before you start acting like Chael Sonnen or Conor McGregor or the next Muhammad Ali or whatever. Like, not everybody can do that. You're gonna have to win first. You got to have the skill set first. Develop that first.
And just lastly, I'll end on this, John, and I'll let you get on your way. When you're approaching these fights in this tournament, have you got that mindset that every fight, well, technically it is for the title, but are you approaching each one like it is the title fight? That's the way you need to mentally prepare yourself for it?
Well, I mean, I'm taking it one fight at a time. I'm not going to look down the road or who's next or what's going on. I'm just going to make sure that I'm prepared for that night. I'm going to go all out. It's a 25-minute sprint. Do the work, get the belt, and then, I'll take a couple of days off and then look for the next thing.
Yeah, and does it almost, so you're just not even looking really at the other brackets? Obviously, the other bracket who you would be competing against next, is it just purely focused on Rory MacDonald?
Yep, just one fight at a time. Because, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You could die out there. You could break your leg. You could, whatever. Anything could happen. So I'm not going to stress about, the championship fight of the tournament. I'm going to take it one step at a time. You can't think about the last hurdle before you've jumped over the first hurdle.
Yeah, perfect. Well, listen, John, from MMA UK, thanks very much for giving us some time, and obviously, best of luck at Bellator 220.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Tune in April 27th. It's going to be a hell of a show.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
All right. Thank you.